A beautiful house plant that produces bright orange or red flowers. Let's look at growing the Crossandra plant, also known as the firecracker plant. Now there are several variations of the Crossandra plant, and the two most commonly available varieties are the Sundance Crossandra, which is commonly available at your local gardening stores. You can head over to Home Depot to find this Sundance Crossandra plant. It is sold as an internal house plant, which means that it grows in bright, direct house light, what you would find inside your rooms. But I've also planted it outside and it grows pretty well. So let's look at the planting technique. The Crossandra plant comes packaged in this beautiful little package that you see here, and it comes in a small pot. Now we're going to be using this 16-inch container that you see here, and the soil that we're using for planting our Crossandra plant is this mix of peat moss, perlite and compost. I'm reusing some of my existing container soil, but if you want to make new container soils, I do have a lot of guides on how you can make your own potting mix. And this is one of the most commonly used mixes that at least I use in my garden, and it does a great job. So all you do is remove the plant from its container. You can see how root bound this plant is, and then just plant it inside this container that you just prepared. And you can loosen the roots a little bit on the bottom just to stimulate the root system, and then just fill around the plants with the rest of the container soil so that you have the soil towards the top. Now you can grow this plant in indirect light like shade or some place where you do not get direct sunlight. This plant cannot tolerate direct sunlight. It will die, it will burn off and die, and it also doesn't tolerate frost. So it will grow very well during the spring and summer months, but then in the winter season it will go dormant and then come back up in the springtime. Now I'm using a drip irrigation system to irrigate this plant, and I've kept it in almost complete shade here, as you can see. I've demonstrated a lot of the drip irrigation techniques in my other videos, and I pretty much use the same technique whenever I add a new container. So I'm using this fan bubbler spray here, as you can see. And once the drip irrigation assembly is in place, you must test it out. So this is the fan bubbler. It is one of the most commonly used drip emitters. I love using this drip emitter simply because it does provide very good coverage for 16-inch containers or larger, and you can always adjust the spray intensity. So just make sure that it's not spraying outside the container and you're good to go. Now this plant produces abundantly. It produces these orange flowers that you can see. They're extremely beautiful. And the Sundance Crossandra plant also has the shiny leaves that you see here, which is why they are very delicate to direct sunlight. And they will bloom throughout the spring and the summer season and produce these lovely flowers, which will then turn into seeds that you can see here. Now the Sundance Crossandra plant doesn't actually produce seeds. This variety just produces flowers which turn into the fake seeds, you can say. And this plant produces abundantly, as you can see here. Plenty of flowers here, and they look absolutely gorgeous in your garden. So this was the variety that produces these bright orange flowers. We will now look at the next Crossandra plant variety. The next variety is actually the plant that produces the red flowers, and this is also called the firecracker plant, and I'll shortly get to why it is called the firecracker plant. Now, one of my friends actually provided me a plant for this one, and you can easily grow these from seeds as well, because this variety does produce the true seeds after the flowers have died. And you can see here we are using a similar sized container. This is actually a 12-inch container, which is also quite sufficient for growing the red variety of the firecracker plant. And this is also a Crossandra plant variety. It just produces different colored flowers, and it also produces these seeds, which is why it's known as the firecracker plant. Now I've placed this plant in my front yard, and this variety can actually tolerate a little bit of sunlight. It still prefers shade, but it will tolerate sunlight, unlike the Sundance variety, which does not really tolerate a lot of sunlight. So as you can see here, these flowers are also very beautiful. They're a little darker orange or almost leaning towards red. And this is why it's called the firecracker plant. As you can see, it actually bursts like a firecracker, throwing its seeds around. And it's actually activated by water. So once you water it, so there we have it, folks. That was our episode on growing the Crossandra plant. We saw two varieties, the Sundance as well as the firecracker plant. If you grow this plant at home, do let me know that in the comments box below. Do let us know your feedback on the Flora series where we feature flowering plants. We'll see you again soon. Happy gardening.